start us off here?
Yeah, Coach, taking on Nashville this week, team that's in the playoff spot. You guys, as bad as it's been recently, still only 5-6 points out of a playoff spot. How important is this match this week against Nashville as you guys get close to the All-Star break?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this for a few weeks now. These matches are incredibly important to try to put points on the board going into Leagues Cup, so that in the final 9 matches we can really make a run at the playoffs. But really what's more important to me beyond the result is that we display ourselves in a much better way than what we did against Orlando. And, there's different circumstances and different players that weren't available for that match, but that has nothing to do with how we go out and really compete. And so that's what I'm looking for, is a response from that performance the other night, which is unacceptable. And what I've seen from training this week is a group that's reset in a good way, and we're ready to go again.
I was going to say that the reset from matches like an Orlando match, just how have you been able to kind of just rally this team and just be like, listen, that happened, let's move on to the next match?
Yeah, I mean, we have to stay convicted in what we want to accomplish this season. And right now we're in a difficult spot, and we have a choice to make. And there's only one choice that we're going to make. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to continue to work extremely hard, and I know that there's going to be results on the end of that.
And I know sometimes they're circumstantial, but the red card situation, the last couple of matches, there's just been a couple of red cards. Is that just a circumstance kind of thing when it comes to a match? How do you guys kind of clean that up?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different ways to look at the red cards that we've had. Sometimes it's a little bit happenstance and it's a little random, or maybe there's a decision that's made by the referees that could go either way. But when it's consistent like this is when you can start to say, okay, maybe we're too late in the way that we're pressing and we're stepping out and we're putting ourselves in bad positions and we're tackling because we're behind. These are the things that we have to take full responsibility for and accountability for, so that we can avoid them in the future. It's been too often lately that we've been in situations where we're down a man, and that puts us under extreme circumstances to try to get any points out of the game. And so that's one thing that we've tried to address, and just have a little bit more discipline to our game.
Next, we'll take some from Zoom.
We'll go to Stephen Goff.
Troy, thanks for your time as usual. With Zamudio getting called back and Tyler having had a couple games and been under a lot of duress, what is the goalkeeping situation now with Alex and Tyler, and obviously the window is opening, plus a rookie in Crockford on the roster? How do you see this playing out over the next few weeks?
Yeah, for Luis, we wanted to call him back. He had a good loan spell in relationship to going out and competing for a position at Colorado Springs. They ended up staying with the number 1 that was in goal there because the guy earned the job. And so we wanted to recall him because Luis brings a great dynamic to our training, specifically to our goalkeeper training. And then for our goalkeeper position itself, that's one we're going to continue to evaluate. And I think the circumstances of the last 5 matches, as I just referenced with some of the red cards, have not been easy. So that doesn't make it easy for Tyler and his last 5 appearances. But we're going to evaluate that just like we evaluate every other position moving forward.
Thinking on some of the injured guys who missed some games, Jackson and Christian particularly, but any other movement there?
Yeah, Jackson and Christian Fletcher continue to make progress, but they're probably not going to be available this weekend. I'm hoping next week they can be available for Minnesota potentially, and maybe even the friendly that we have the following week versus Celtic.
We'll go to Dave Johnson now.
Troy, you were just sensing the reboot from your club this week. Given that, how anxious are you, or how anxious do you feel the team is to get back on the field and show that Saturday wasn't representative of who they are?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak to the last 3 days of training that we've had, and it's been set up in a way to be competitive, but I think the guys have brought the competitive mindset that shows me that they're ready to go and make sure that we don't display that type of effort again. I mean, it was really down to an effort. I know we're down a man and there's a couple guys that are out, but that's not my expectation. It shouldn't be any of our expectations to lose a match in the fashion that we did. And we've had some results this year not go our way. We've had some score lines not go our way, but the behavior that I saw on the field is what we wanted to address, and that's been addressed this week, and hopefully we can have a good response against Nashville.
I mean, tackling, obviously, a 5-goal game is not representative. Is there anything specific as you're going through this period that we should highlight, or that you hope gets highlighted by the team to achieve 3 points, whether it be on offense or defense?
Yeah, I think I've said this for a few weeks, but I like our structure for the most part in many matches. I think last week was an outlier for us. Defensively, our structure is usually sound. We usually have a good setup in order to go and win the ball high up the field and be aggressive. And then some individual mistakes may happen, and we have to avoid those. But we also, when those happen, those are going to happen in matches. We have to work extremely hard for our teammates to try to cover up for those mistakes, to avoid not giving away goals so easily. I mean, this is something that we have to make improvement. And Nashville is going to be a difficult side with some of the power that they have up front to contain. But if we're in our way, I know that we can give ourselves a chance to be able to get 3 points on the weekend.
Thanks.
We'll go to Bruce Murray.
Hi, Troy. How are you?
Hey, Bruce. Good, man. Thanks.
Good. Listen, you answered my first question, which was the spirit of the squad. It doesn't surprise me that, you told me the last 3 days have been fantastic. I mean, Dave and I see it all the time when we go out there. What I was noticing a little bit in the game, and I don't know if it was, down 3-0, we sat back a little bit in the low block. You got to go win the ball, and how does that kind of work in there? And did I see it the way that you saw it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think down a man and down a couple of goals, that was not going to be an easy way for us to go and win the ball high up the field. We needed to make sure that we stayed together as best as possible to play that second half out as smart as we could. And that's not what we want. Clearly that's not, you don't want to see that from us. And that's what I'm saying, is that's an outlier for us on the year in terms of not being able to be in our true behavior, winning the ball high up the field, being aggressive. And that's something that we'll absolutely address going into Nashville, as we have all week.